Hey, it's Erik Paulsen, continuing our weekly conversation. Heard a lot from folks this week given the President's new health care law is being reviewed by the Supreme Court. So I want to thank all of you that took the time to send in a tweet or a Facebook comment or have emailed relating your concerns or even support for the legislation. Also want to jump right into it because Laura expressed her concern or her support for the bill actually from Plymouth, saying, "I'd like to express my strong support for the landmark Affordable Care Act. As an educator, I see firsthand the importance of access to health care for children's success in school. The new law also provides important protections for health care consumers. For example, it allows parents to keep children up to the age of 26 on their health care plans. I think that this provision makes wonderful sense. I encourage you to join me in supporting this important new law." Well, Laura, first, let me just thank you for being an educator. My wife's a teacher herself, and I strongly value what you do in teaching our children. Secondly, just want to pass on that I've heard from a lot of folks on this issue, given the fact that the Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on the tenets of the President's new health care law and the individual mandate. I do believe that there are important consumer protections that do make sense. There's no squabbling about that. There's actually support across the aisle, on both sides of the aisle, for consumer protections like allowing young people to be on their parents' policies through age 26 or even covering pre-existing conditions. However, the debate changes, and I don't believe we've moved in the right direction with the President's new health care law when it doesn't address costs. In fact, it's going to become more expensive. The Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan office, just released last week that the cost of the President's bill is actually doubling to $1.7 or $1.8 trillion. We've also got a medical device tax that is going to hit Minnesota hard when that gets put in place. And also, we've got provisions that make it more difficult for people who have healthcare savings accounts, flexible spending accounts, to be able to utilize those accounts to purchase simple over-the-counter medications such as Advil or Claritin for your children without getting a doctor's prescription. So there are a lot of changes that should be made. And then you've also got the fact that we're moving now $500 billion and we're cutting that out of Medicare to move into a new entitlement program. I think that's a move in the wrong direction. It's one of the reasons why the bill and the new law remains so controversial. Also this week, I got an email from Karen in Maple Grove, actually, who weighed in concerning the spread of Asian carp into Minnesota lakes and waterways when she wrote in saying, "I'm very concerned about saving our many lakes from Asian carp and other invasive species. As a mother, I'm concerned that the spread of this fish will affect the lakes my family and I take advantage of every summer. What can be done at the local and federal level to keep our 10,000 lakes safe?" Karen, let me just say that I agree. I'm also concerned about this newest invasive species. Back in Minnesota, there's a lot of discussion going on about having bubble barriers or electric barriers that can be put in the river to prevent the move up of this Asian carp up through the waterways. There's no doubt that Minnesota's crown jewel are the streams and lakes and waterways that we not only use for commerce, but we enjoy every weekend as families as a recreational basis. I also will tell you this. Out here in Washington, the Minnesota delegation has introduced legislation that I am co-sponsoring that will allow us, if necessary, to close the final lock at the St. Anthony Falls Dam. We should do whatever we can to prevent the Asian carp from moving up and infiltrating many of Minnesota's lakes and waterways. I urge you to continue to stay in touch with me by sending me an email, posting a message on Facebook, or sending a tweet. It helps me a lot. Also visit me on the website at paulsen.house.gov. Have a great week and weekend.